Nationwide strike deferred. Wewak MP concerned about squatting in Wewak town. And West New Britain first to pilot SME incubation centre.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for the news this Tuesday. The proposed nationwide strike by the opposition has been deferred to next Friday, the 26th of October. The deferral is in response to concerns raised by parents and guardians of grade 12 and 8 students who will be sitting the national examinations. The deferral comes 2 days after it was announced by members of the opposition.
The proposed nationwide strike was planned for this Thursday and Friday, the 17th and 18th of October. It is in response to the national government's decision to buy 40 Italian-made Maserati sports car to ferry world leaders during the APEC Leaders Week next month. ECP Governor Alan Bird says the proposed strike has been called off this week, but will take place next Friday.
Is because when the post went out, a lot of parents came back and they were concerned about the exams. Obviously, from an opposition standpoint, we wanted to strike while the issue was hot. However, in consideration of the concerns of the parents, the opposition caucus met, including the opposition leader and others, and we decided that we would defer it to next week, Friday, because the grade 8 exams finish on Thursday. What we are calling for is a passive protest. And so you protest by staying at home. If you are working, like the polio teams that are going around, or medical workers, then we ask you to protest by maybe wearing black or wearing a black armband.
The arrival of the 40 luxury sports cars in Papua New Guinea on October 7th caused much debate on social platforms. While the minister responsible for APEC, Justin Tachenko, has confirmed the securing of these vehicles, little has been said about who in the private sector has purchased them. But while in Leh a week ago, the Prime Minister announced that the 40 Maseratis will be sold to private sector after the APEC summit.
Other international events that we have hosted in the past 40 years, there has always been arrangement whereby the private sector will buy those vehicles so that it saves government money, and then the private sector will take ownership of the vehicles after the events are finished. So government is not paying any funds out of its pocket.
The total value of the expensive cars is estimated to be in the millions, and the reason for the proposed strike is on why the national government had purchased 40 Maseratis when urgent funding is needed to carry out health, education and other government projects in Papua New Guinea.
Who are concerned about your kids' future. The opposition is now calling for a nationwide boycott, not a protest in the streets, not in putting your kids at harm's way, not giving chances for opportunists. We're asking you to express your disgust and that you've had enough of corruption. So next week, Friday.
We should not have in the first place bought these expensive vehicles, We could have done with the vehicles that we have already available in the country. That's the vehicle that everyday people use here for business, for all kinds of guests coming and going all the time. Important guests coming into the country is not a new concept. Some of these guests have already come to Papua New Guinea before. This will probably be the second or third time. They know what our true situation is. So we should have bought vehicles that reflect our true position. Maserati does not. There's never been one single Maserati in this country before this scheme was hatched.
In the history of Papua New Guinea?
In the history of Papua New Guinea. This is the first one.
Adelaide Xerox Kari, National EMTV News.
Wewak MP Kevin Isifu is concerned about the growing number of illegal squatters in the ECP capital. He says the town will go through a major replanning exercise to cater for new developments. The Wewak MP has also called for the establishment of provincial building boards and town planning offices.
Speaking in Wewak MP, Isifu spoke highly of the illegal squatting in and around the town. He says people have moved into the town area with the provincial government having no control. Isifu says the provincial building board and land division need an overhaul.
If we continue like that, we will continue to encounter a lot of illegal squattings, and it's happening every day. People are going into and making makeshift houses all over the town.
For East Sepik, the national government has earmarked major projects for an international wharf and Sepik highway. The Wewak MP says proper planning is needed.
Some state land has been forcefully taken over and by people who went in and just taking over state land like nobody's business.
Earlier this year, East Sepik Governor Alan Bird raised similar concerns about the role played by public servants in the Provincial Building Board and Lands Department. Two important divisions yet to make permanent appointments for its public servants.
If we don't have these regulating agencies in place, like the Fiscal Planning Board and the Provincial Land Board and Building Board, and all these regulating agencies are very key in order for us to move forward in regulating all the developments. We cannot go and put infrastructures and development all over the place.
Jack Lapave Jr., National EMTV News.
Grade 10 students of the LaSalle Technical College at Hohola, Port Moresby are sitting for their final exams this week. They started today with English Paper 2 and will continue throughout the week and finish on Tuesday next week. One teacher said because they do not follow the normal education system, they are having their Grade 10 exams this week.
While grade 12 students in the country are sitting for their exams this week, LaSalle Technical College are having its grade 10 students sitting for their exams. A total of 273 grade 10 students of the college sit for their exams starting today, and they will continue for the next 7 days and finish on Tuesday next week, taking one subject each day. The academic subjects they are sitting for include English, Math, Science, Social Science, Business Studies and Personal Development. A teacher and invigilator, Brother Doug O'Reilly, says the college offers academic subjects as well as trade courses, and they don't follow the normal education system. Some of the technical courses offered at the college include motor mechanic, welding and metal fabrication, office administration, computer studies, and tourism and hospitality. Brother O'Reilly says the trade courses are offered together with academic subjects in grade 10, and after completing grade 10, they graduate with grade 10 certificate together with a national certificate in the trade they specialized in. Our teacher says the aim is to help all youths to be qualified and to have a job to sustain their lives. Meanwhile, grade 12 students in the country have started their national examinations. They started today with Math Paper 1 and will finish on Friday. Rayon Lakingu, National EMTV News.
Grade 11 students from the Paradise College today visited the Japan International Cooperation Agency or JICA PNG office in Port Moresby. The visit is for the students to learn more about the work of JICA as a development partner in PNG and the Japanese culture. JICA Chief Representative Takashi Toyama welcomed the students to their PNG office, saying Japan and PNG depend on each other in terms of trade.
The students were excited and gave their full attention to when they were given a rundown about the work JICA does in PNG. JICA Chief Representative Takashi Toyama explained to them that JICA is a development partner that works with the government of PNG to further development. He was happy that the students showed keen interest in learning more about Japan.
So in terms of trade relationship, your country is very important for Japan. And in addition to that, Japan is exporting our many products, such as Toyota Land Cruiser and other machineries to PNG. So I want to say that every nation cannot survive, sustain by itself. Every country depending on each other.
Japanese cooperation to PNG started 1 year before Papua New Guinea gained independence in 1975, and it has continued to support PNG through development grant aids, loans and technological cooperation. An officer from the JICA PNG office, Thomas Samson, explained to the students that JICA has partnered with government and delivered many projects to the people of PNG.
What we are doing is basically based on the government request, our government request. So, okay, Japan, JICA, you come and help us build the bridge. So we have to align our support, JICA support, according to government plans and priorities in this country. Yeah? We cannot just come and go. And then the government will say, hey, come and follow us. So that's what we are doing. And as I mentioned, what is JICA? Japan International Cooperation Agency. Basically, JICA is the implementing agency of most of Japan's development assistance.
The students also participated in some activities to learn about the Japanese culture. They were taught about Japanese food, fashion, and their local language. There were also demonstrations of the famous sumo wrestling and how to use chopsticks. A student expressed his gratitude to the JICA team, saying it was a privilege to learn about Japanese culture, and he thanked JICA for their work in helping PNG.
I learned a lot about what JICA is and who they are, basically. I realized that JICA has played a big part in the development of our country, basically, in both Mosby and all across nationwide. They've done a lot of things for us, the Japanese, MSC, basically, with the different schemes and so on. Yeah, I want to thank JICA for most of everything they've done so far, because I've seen that they've done a lot, basically. Even in infrastructure, also in helping us financially with loans and so on and so forth, basically. So yeah, I'd like to thank JICA. We appreciate them.
Rayon Lakingu, National MTV News.
West New Britain will be the first province in the country to pilot the joint establishment and incubation centre of the small to medium enterprise sector. In a ceremony today in Kimbe, a memorandum of agreement was signed between the provincial administrator and the Small Medium Enterprise Corporation, or SMEC. Provincial Administrator Williamson Hosea said the agreement will be a boost for the SME sector, which is the backbone of the province's economy. Hosea added the incubation centre will enable provincial authorities to partner stakeholders, including the national government, to develop proper infrastructure and allocate funding more effectively to develop the sector. Meanwhile, SMEC Managing Director Stephen Macken said the incubation centre is part of the national SME policy, and West New Britain will pilot this initiative to see SMEs receive the attention they need. Macken also said due to funding constraints, SMEC is not able to roll out this initiative to all provinces, but added all provinces must show interest and support in terms of funding and other necessary tools to establish this important centre for the SME sector. The incubation centre, once properly established, will assist local SMEs in the province to set up proper infrastructure and manage proper funding and donor assistance. SMEC is currently working on establishing 4 regional SME incubation centres in the country, with Kimbe being the pilot for the NGI region. You're watching National MTV News. Still ahead in the news, first rice to be grown out of the Highlands region. That and more when we come back. Welcome back. The partnership between Mulbaya Lumusa Electorate and Truka Industries Limited has seen the inaugural harvesting of rice in the Baya Valley of Western Highlands Province. It is their trial project, growing 10 hectares of rice in just 4 months. Agriculture and Livestock Minister Benny Allen says such projects will reduce the importing of rice.
5 hectares of rice was harvested yesterday in the Baya Valley. It is expected to produce 20 tons of rice, which will be transported to Trukai's manufacturing plant in Leh to be processed. This trial project was to test different varieties of rice that can be grown on a commercial scale in Baya Valley.
Government or film this la trubla kai now by yumi online place mas growing.
Baya Valley has the potential to grow rice on a larger scale. This project complements Trukai Industries' Makam Valley Rice Corridor, which is already harvesting, processing and selling its Hamamas rice in stores. Mulbaya MP Koi Trape requested for Trukai to save the cost of transporting rice to Leh by processing and packaging the Baya Valley rice in Baya.
Long coffee victory come up.
Sorghum factory ba come up, rice factory ba come up. Also sorghum factory ba producing stock pig. This la factory stuff there. So me bla ba finishing this bla. Me bla me work lo panim some big bla company or become fat na wanda me bla. Why me work lo panim big bla company? People needing some big bla company all can partner wanda me bla na. Me bla can work wanda na me bla can develop them all get the ground bla me bla.
Locals will also be tasked to allocate their land to grow rice and sell it back to Trukai to benefit from this project. Rice has already become a staple food for PNG, and each year 400,000 tons of rice is imported to PNG. Agriculture and Livestock Minister Benny Allen said 600 million kina is spent every year. Growing rice locally will reduce this annual cost.
You must growing rice, replacing this import here over time. You mean now working hurry up, but you must start somewhere.
Once the Baya Valley Rice Project is up and running, 41% of the income will go to the Mulbaya Lumusa District Development Authority. Hagen Open MP William Duma was also present at the inaugural harvesting yesterday, and he encouraged locals to support the project and supply the people of Highlands region with their rice. Basinata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
Rice farmers in the Menyamia district have been growing the crop for more than 15 years. However, they've faced problems with milling their locally grown rice. A rice farmer, Jolam Andrews, says they've had to bring their rice to Nari to mill for them to take back to Menyamia. Yesterday, they were given a solar rice mill funded under the Australia PNG Incentive Fund program. The farmers said this will help in cutting costs and increase local rice production.
Jolam Andrews has been growing rice in the Menyamia district for 18 years. Yesterday, he displayed bags of unmilled rice during the solar rice mill presentation at the Menyamia district station. Some harvested more than a year ago.
One farmers who said now grown rice and more rice in Salo district. You got all farmers now rice is out of stock. Problem low rice mill.
Over the years, they've had to bring their harvested rice into town to mill. Andrews said this has been costly. Yesterday, the Menyamia district was given a new solar rice mill funded by the Australian government and implemented by the National Agriculture Research Institute and other stakeholders.
That's part of a 2.5 million kina program that the Australian government's funding, in partnership with Trukai and Nari, to help provide ease of milling for communities.
We bring more people to Australia, come on them here, connect them through the rice mill, through the incentive fund or something so bring.
On Saturday, the Wampit village was also given a solar rice mill. Unlike Menyamia, they've only been growing rice for a year.
Mi tok mo long agenda mi tok no can Lucy Mary Bloyo. She's important part of your family. So I'm not man Mary work them na rice kama. Na rice blonari or kakem sweet mo.
Jolam Andrews says they will not have to travel to mill their locally grown rice, and this will allow them to create a market within the district itself. The farmers in the district will be trained by Nari to operate the mill before they start milling.
Lucy
Kopana, National EMTV News, Leh.
The Menyamia district in Morbe is a food bowl of fresh fruits and vegetables. Unfortunately, farmers aren't able to sell their produce because of the lack of market opportunities. Over the weekend, Menyamia MP Thomas Pelika, accompanied by Australia's Consul General Paul Murphy, visited the Menyamia district. Mr. Pelika said this was to help show some of Menyamia's food crops and bring in market for the people.
These were just some of the local produce that were displayed at the Menyamia station yesterday. Farmers took the chance to show their produce to visitors from the Australian Consulate, NKW Fresh and the National Agriculture Research Institute.
So we're already assisting NKW Fresh in WOW, and we're looking at expanding some of their activities over to this part of the world if there's suitable activities.
The Menyamia district is an agricultural hub, however, One of the district's setbacks has been the road conditions. The roads have deteriorated over time, affecting access to markets. Wewak MP Thomas Pelliker said he is prioritizing roadworks so the district can have better access to opportunities and services.
For any development for teachers or for anything to happen, road must have good number one priority. So I'm giving number one priority to make sure road come up good past them. Then after that, other things will fall in line.
David Asi is a honey farmer. With this opportunity, he says it will help his honey project.
Now this let me I'm a master when you can come. I'll be this walk now.
Very beautiful honey being produced up here, and we're going to take that back. We're actually going to showcase some of that as part of the Australia Pavilion at the Morabi Show.
Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Ley.
Representatives from market authorities from 4 provinces met today in Ley to share ideas on how to improve the operations of their market facilities. Goroka Market Authority rep from Eastern Highlands said they were still using old facilities. New developments were delayed due to political disagreements.
The local farmers of fresh produce in Goroka are now seeking market outside of Goroka town due to the deteriorating market facilities established 57 years ago. For years, farmers have been trying their best to export their produce to Port Moresby and other provincial centres with better market facilities. Manager for Gahuku local level government, Ishmael Sabak, said this morning during the market development facility workshop that the delay in improving the market was due to political disagreements over the years.
We got about 22 million now in a trust in the bank. So we are still working, but because of political interference, as you have had in newspaper and post-correct about our difficulties, and we end up in the court. And now the court is already given an order that public servant will be implementing the market.
Political level or whatever level to some, there's a mindset, or there's a kind of something service threat. That is why sometimes we don't do anything. But if everybody comes with one patent in mind, working out, we can be all right.
The Market Development Facility or MDF workshop today brought representatives from market facilities from 4 provinces to share ideas on how to improve the operations of their market facilities. The 4 market authorities that attended the workshop this morning were Ley City Authority, East New Britain, NCD and Goroka Eastern Highlands. Others who attended included reps from NARI, NKW, PNG Women in Agriculture and FPDA.
So MDF or Market Development Facility is a multi-country program funded by Australian government. In PNG, we are looking at improving private sector's competitiveness in agribusiness sector, and that is why we realize that it is a very important component of our work to understand how market authorities in different provinces work.
Our main beneficiaries are the suppliers of fresh produce or agriculture produce. So we work through different business models to see where the investments are made and what some of the risk the private sector is taking to help improve businesses and then trickle the benefits right down to the producers and sellers of agriculture produce.
The maintenance of Goroka Market will begin next year with support from the National Planning Office with 12.2 million kina and the Eastern Islands Provincial Government with 10 million kina.
And people in Waigani, some of them are sitting on our papers and they are not processing our papers so that our project are being delayed. Goroka Marketia Mitla, Membablo Goroka Toktoki Goetlo Mitla Pen. Now I'm come to final stage. All get the process and finish come to lawyer or looking contract now. I said the soul me ring one time to call finalize him. Papers would come stop long right up here and float all Salimigolo Narpla agencies all together. We had to go around and bring those papers back and put him come on and walk line tamblo tasol me walk him. He come now a final stage so market by Kirap NEC or by Simon advise him head of state now our state of the art market 18 million kina where government approve him will by Sanab in chat of 4 months that's all.
Julie Badui Owa, National EMTV News, Ley.
8 students from Australia are experiencing the Highlands way of living in Western Highlands Province. This is under Australia's new Colombo plan, where undergraduate students will deepen their knowledge of the Indo-Pacific region. For many, the experience was overwhelming and they are encouraging others to take up the course.
The 8 students spent a week under Mount Kuta, approximately 20 minutes drive outside Mount Hagen. Professor Rosita Henry is leading the team to study and have a work-based experience at Kuta Village. The program is a signature initiative of the Australian government which aims to lift the students' knowledge of the Indo-Pacific region.
Students have been really learning the techniques that horticulturalists use, so how to build the drainage, how to build cacao mounds, and really experiencing firsthand the work that goes into that. So they really learn through firsthand experience, through what we call participant observation, what it means to work in this way.
For the 8 students, the program allowed them to engage with locals and learn basic skills. EMTV News caught up with the Bilum and wall weaving session.
It's been just amazing. I think also experiencing the Melanesian culture in general, which is something I notice a lot of people are passionate about, their sense of community, their sharing, and that culture is really different to perhaps Australian culture. We're a little more individualistic, we're just in our little families and things, whereas they see themselves as a big family, a big community, and that was amazing to see.
Yeah, and I think it's been like really great that the new Colombo plan allows us to come and experience this as students. Yeah, and it's an amazing experience.
For many, the experiences taught them with valuable lessons, especially about the environment and agriculture practices.
We worked with them and we got to talk through the process and really gain an appreciation for PNG and the Highland community and the tribal relations between tribes and the interpersonal relations. So it's been a fantastic experience.
I definitely encourage anyone that's thinking of coming abroad to study, definitely take the opportunity, because it gives you such a deeper understanding and the cultural sharing, and I suppose the self-reflection that you get from that, from talking about to one person and how they might do one thing like marriage or...
The new Colombo plan is intended to deepen Australia's relationship in the region, both at the individual level and through expanding university, business and other links.
So they learn how to be very observant. You learn from watching, you learn from doing. It's all very well asking questions, but it's not until you actually try to do it yourself that you really gain a knowledge. And that's, as an anthropologist, that's what I like to convey to my students, that you can watch it but you don't know it until you do it.
This is the 3rd batch of students to undergo this program attachment. Jack Lapava Jr., National, EMTV News.
Corporate houses at this year's Vision City Trade Expo say it has helped expose their services. The only hotel business at this year's expo, Holiday Inn, say many people have filled out special festive season specials for families and couples. Godwin Eki visited the expo and files this story.
The only hotel services showcased at this year's Vision City Trade Expo is the Holiday Inn and Express amenities. Sales and Promotion Coordinator Oliver Arwai says customers at the booths were interested to find out about the festive season specials.
Well, the only hotel at the trade show here at the moment, just basically promoting the general information on both hotels, Holiday Inn and Holiday Inn Express. Our festive season, it's a local package, Christmas package, which runs from the 15th of December to the 15th of January next year. So it will be on a daily rate of $390 plus tax, comes with complimentary breakfast for 2 and Wi-Fi. At Expos, last year we've been doing a draw. We've done a draw last year, so we've been collecting information from people. They've been filling in our registration form here to go into a draw. We also use the same information to build our database. So this same information is for us to use to send out email blasts in the future, updating our customers on latest promotions and hotel updates.
But not only did the expo keep its customers busy upstairs, it was a very different story in the car park. Workers preparing ahead of this year's Christmas saw them prepare decorations, bringing the Christmas fever closer.
Christmas season, it's a big mall, that's why we are preparing early. And those guys here, those are the ones are doing it. Something different. We will be having the atrium, one Santa house there, and then and the amphitheater we also have a decoration there, a lighting decoration.
Graphics and art workers of Vision City say it is better to start decorating now, as VC is a big shopping mall and it takes time.
Mila making mina way lo attracting more customers, so all drive past by all look at decoration of even all kids all by talking mami na deo mami mila drive go inside. It's like a Christmas tree or look nice, so mila go inside lab, so mila making mina way decoration way mila can attract more man.
The Vision City Trade Expo will continue until this Saturday. Godwin Eki, National EMTV News.
International evangelist Renato Di Carrillo and his crusade delegation of 19 members from the Philippines arrived in the country this morning for a two-day miracle crusade at the Sir John Guy's Stadium. Residents of Port Moresby have been invited to attend the Miracle Crusade on the 19th to the 20th of November at the Sir John Guy's Stadium.
International evangelist Apostle Renato Di Carrillo and a delegation from the Philippines arrived in the country this morning for a two-day miracle crusade at the Sir John Guy's Stadium in Port Moresby. The delegation of 19 members made up of pastors, musicians and media team arrived to a warm welcome of smiles and flower garlands by Body of Christ representatives at the Jackson's International Airport. Speaking to EMTV, Apostle Carrillo, founder of Jesus is Our Shield Worldwide Ministries, invited the residents of Port Moresby to attend the two-nights crusade and experience what the Lord will do.
And the Lord have sent me to release a blessing to each every one of you, so I'm inviting you to our glorious conference where all kinds of miracles happen. The blind see, the lame walk, the deaf hear, the dead are raised, and all kinds of sicknesses and diseases will be healed. Not to be healed, but will be healed.
Carrillo is also host of Miracle After Miracle Explosion radio and TV programs in the Philippines, and his crusades all around the world are known for miracles and healings.
So come be excited, tell everybody, let us gather together, for God is ready and waiting for all of you to give you your miracles. So see you there.
Known for his passion to raise and mentor young people in godly ways, Apostle has this to say to the youths in the city.
So I call on upon the youth, let us come, expect great things, and let us see Jesus revealing himself in our midst, because he loves the youth, and that is you.
Port Moresby Body of Christ Deputy Chair Pastor Wilson Mark has welcomed the delegation from the Philippines, saying the crusade is timely and will prepare Port Moresby spiritually for the APEC Summit, which is soon coming.
And especially in the preparation for APEC, we want the Lord to literally cover this place and then let the leaders as they come. And when they come, they will experience the presence of the Lord here.
The team will also meet with pastors and leaders of the church during their 9-day stay in the country. The crusade will be held on the 19th to 20 October at the Sir John Guy's Stadium. Elijah Palmer, National EMTV News.
You're tuned into Tuesday's news. We take a breather here, but stay tuned for stories making headlines overseas when we come back. Welcome back to the news. Turning overseas, Saudi Arabia is said to admit a Saudi journalist was killed inside its consulate in Turkey, according to new reports. U.S. media reports say the kingdom will claim Jamal Khashoggi died during an interrogation gone wrong. After 2 weeks of diplomatic rambling, Turkish police were finally allowed into the Istanbul building to look for themselves. But we may never know what really happened.
His fiancée waiting outside, Jamal Khashoggi, walked through these doors almost 2 weeks ago and hasn't been seen since. Today, Turkish officials traced his steps after finally getting permission from Saudi officials to investigate what happened inside the consulate that day. Saudi Arabia insisted the US resident and vocal critic of the Saudi royal family left alive and well. But pressure is mounting for answers amid claims he was murdered and then dismembered. The Saudi king deflecting the blame in a phone call to US President Donald Trump.
The king firmly denied any knowledge of it. He didn't really know. Maybe, I don't want to get into his mind, but it sounded to me like maybe these could have been rogue killers. Who knows?
Now reports the king is prepared to admit Mr. Khashoggi was killed inside the consulate after an interrogation by a squad of Saudi officers went wrong.
The idea had been to abduct him from Turkey, presumably to take him back to the kingdom. This operation was not carried out, according to the sources, with the proper level of clearance and transparency. That apparently some kind of a nod to the idea that the crown prince, the king himself, were not aware of this.
Critics rejecting the claim rogue killers could pull off such an operation without the royal family or consulate security knowing. Trump has sent US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to Saudi Arabia for answers.
I heard that report, but nobody knows if it's an official report. So far, it's just the rumor.
Turkish officials are hoping to unearth clues inside the consulate, but there are doubts Khashoggi's true fate will ever be known. Just before Turkish officials were allowed inside, these cleaners were spotted entering the consulate.
The Markle Sparkle has become a royal glow with news the Duke and Duchess of Sussex will have a baby next year. Sydney side is among the first to congratulate the couple as they officially started their Down Under tour today. Thousands turned out to catch a glimpse as Harry and Meghan soaked up Australian culture, critters and starstruck kids.
There's been an air of excitement and anticipation from the young to the old on a somewhat blustery but still beautiful Sydney day today. Interest in the Duke and Duchess has only grown over the last 24 hours, and in true Aussie fashion, one local paper proclaimed Air Dinkum on its front page this morning after news broke that they're expecting. On official public duties while getting good practice for the more personal commitments to come. And while Prince Harry may have enjoyed this unveiling in Sydney today, there was only one big reveal on people's minds. News he and wife Meghan are expecting their first child, triggering an outpouring of excitement, added scrutiny, and well-wishes from around the world.
It's wonderful news, very happy for them.
I think, they're a lovely couple and I wish them all the best. I think it's amazing. Good on her.
I think it's a wonderful thing. I think it'll bring us together, both countries together.
Some question the timing of their announcement the couple told the family at Princess Eugenie's wedding. And it was there that public speculation began to blossom, with eyebrows raised over the Duchess's choice of coat. Her emergence in Sydney clutching those folders only heightened suspicions. For Prince Harry, it completes a transformation.
Don't worry, not all animals should be in a bag like that. Especially when you basically have wings.
From party prince to married man to future doting dad, his desire for children with Meghan no secret.
One step at a time, and hopefully we'll start a family in the near future.
Though some are surprised they didn't wait to share their news.
Because the scrutiny which would have been there beforehand is going to be that much more intense now.
But it hasn't changed their packed schedule, though the couple did seek medical advice on the risk of Zika in the Pacific. The couple wants to meet as many people as possible on this tour, and today a public walk here at Sydney's iconic Opera House has provided a perfect opportunity. Several thousand people waiting hours for just a moment. So what are you planning to do with those?
Give them to Harry and Meghan.
And they did. A sweet moment untainted by the sweeping security. Armed officers on stairwells and walkways, snipers on the sails. For a royal couple, or perhaps that should be trio, winning Aussie hearts. Well, the pair's just wrapping up the last of their official engagements tonight. That's a reception hosted by the Governor-General at Admiralty House, which is somewhat inconveniently just behind the cruise ship that's just come into our shot. But it is also where Prince Harry has just spoken about the baby for the first time.
But genuinely, thank you for the incredibly warm welcome and the chance to meet so many Aussies from all walks of life. And we also generally couldn't think of a better place to announce the upcoming baby, be it a boy or a girl. So thank you very, very much.
As for what tomorrow brings, well, the couple's getting a bit of a city escape. They're heading 5 hours inland to Dubbo. That's a town that's been affected by the recent drought, and it's also been a bit of a favourite with the Royals in the past. So preparations well underway there and expecting more crowds out in force.
You're watching the news on your number one to watch. Stay tuned for Chukai Sports coming up next.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. The Papua New Guinea Rugby Football League has seen some positive change over the past 5 years. The PNG RFL has set out a 10-year strategic plan on targets to achieve by 2028.
The sport has seen an increase in participation and has had many successes in just 5 years. With junior development and school programs excelling in the country, the Hunters program proving to be effective, Kumul's victories and the inclusion of the Oil Search PNG Orchids. The number of referees, coaches and officials has also risen. They have had many key milestones in a short period of time. Speaking at the NBC Press Club for October, where PNG RFL Chairman Sandy Saka and CEO Reata Rao, who spoke of their successes and challenges faced in running the organization.
You know, some of the regular things that we do in an organization every day, every week, every month, we're the only organization, I believe, that continues to deliver international events week in, week out, without fail for the last 5 years. If you think of the Hunters and the Kumuls, this office continues to do that.
With their 4-year strategic plan from 2014 to 2017 being achieved, a 10-year plan has been developed and will be driven by 6 key areas.
Game development and participation, high performance in elite sport development, sportsmanship, culture and professionalism, financial viability, sustainability and efficiency, governance and administration, and the 6th, partnership, strategic partnership and stakeholder relationships. Those are our strategic objectives around which we have built strategies and key performance indicators to move the sport to the next phase going forward.
Their main aim is to commercialize the sport and make it a profitable business. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
Former NRL referee Shane Hayne was impressed with the number of women who participated in the referees clinic held last week. Hayne was in Port Moresby facilitating referee courses at the National Football Stadium. He says this is the highest number of female participation he's seen so far.
You know, I encourage kids at 13, 14, 15, ex-players, coaches, all those type of people, females to take it on. And yesterday was the most amount of females I've seen in a course, and that's even in Australia. The amount of women that were here yesterday going through that course, I think there was 2, 4, 7 or 8 in the one area. That was phenomenal. That's really exciting times, given the way the female game has gone. It's just getting bigger and bigger and stronger. So if we can get some young females taking up, showing some interest, giving them confidence, giving them the coaching.
You're watching Chukai Sports. We'll have more for you when we come back. Stay tuned.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome back to Chukai Sports. Tonga's rugby league players are claiming a huge win after going head-to-head with their kangaroo counterparts this afternoon. Players took each other on in a popular online video game, Fortnite.
Before these two rugby league powerhouses clash in real life, today was a chance to size each other up in the virtual world.
You've been practicing since last time you were here.
A bit of fun between teams at the LPL studios at Auckland Sky City, but Tui Lolohe came prepared for war, even bringing his own custom joysticks.
So would you consider yourself elite or...
Depends who I'm playing with.
Today it was the Dally M Hooker of the Year, Damien Cook.
Dally M Hooker of the Year, how do you go in Fortnite?
Not too good, mate. Like I've got rugby league to fall back onto, but it's a bit of fun between the boys. Us boys at South love it.
Over 2 sessions, Lolohe led the Tongans to a whopping 28-14 win. That's 28 kills in Fortnite terms. A worrying sign for Australia? Well, they did lose to the Kiwis at the same video game last week.
After seeing what happened on Saturday, mate, you guys have got a lot of pressure on today, then.
Yeah, we do, mate. Yeah, it's nice to get a little win today, but I can't really see it happening today. Hopefully Saturday.
But Australia have already changed up their preparation for this week's clash, visiting the Papakura Marae, taking in all the culture on offer.
Obviously went to a traditional hangi. So yeah, it was a lot of boys that have never experienced that before.
It'll hopefully change their fortunes come Saturday, a game that's so big it appears every Tongan and their mobility scooter will be rocking up to support.
And that ends True Guys Sports. Up next, the weather details for the next 24 hours.
True Guys Sports. True Guys Sports.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
Look at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the NGI region. Only fine weather in Loringa, fine although cloudy in Kavieng, fine and sunny in Kokoporabal and Kimbe, and fine although cloudy in Buka.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
And that's been the news, sport and weather for Tuesday from the entire EMTV news team. Pleasant viewing and good night.